We're going to be just quickly going over the fruit mason jars. These files are pretty simple, but what I wanted to do was just show you quickly in case you had any questions about assembly. I have two of the jars already put together. You can see they do have a squared edge. For me, it makes it easier for putting, when I have a straight edge to work with, it's just easier for me to line it up instead of trying to round the paper, and then we round it off with the panel piece that we put on. So when this goes on, then the bottom is rounded with just a little tiny bit of excess hanging over. Older kids could put these together. I think your younger children might have a little bit of difficulty with the box, maybe. They could definitely do the panels. So let's work on a box. So you're just going to fold it on all the score lines. Definitely older kids could do this, middle school on up. I do use the Darcy ultra fine tip bottles that I put my Scotch glue in. Most of the time when you're working on these projects, less is better with glue because you are working with paper, and when you get it wet, it will start to curl on you. So I'm just trying to get it to stick in place so I can then flip it onto the table. And I'm just going to push these tabs down on the inside. Okay, so that was pretty simple. And now I'm going to do this tab. For me, this is the best order to do it in. You certainly, obviously, don't have to. But for me, this way works best. Because then once I get this, I'm just pinching that, as you can see here, to make sure that tab is secured and flat. And then that gives me a nice, I'm just doing all these sides all at one time because of the order I put them in. The order I put it together. Excuse me. Okay. And again, I just want to get a couple of places anchored so that I can flip it over and push on the inside. Excuse me. Okay, so that is pretty straightforward, putting the box together. The next piece I put on, for me personally, is the jar lid. So you just layer those two pieces together, and then it just goes right there on the top. And since it's something I always forget to do in my videos, I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. because the thought occurred to me. So the handle, I use pipe cleaners, and there are holes cut, even though I haven't punched that out. There are holes cut in the side to put these handles on. You could just cut a strip if you wanted to make it paper. You could attach it with brads, but it's designed for something like wire, or you could even use ribbon or pipe cleaners. I like the pipe cleaners because the handles stand up. Okay, and that's pretty simple. I've got several ink pads out over here because they're pretty worn, and I wasn't sure how well they were going to work. For my pineapple, because it's so simple, I'm just going to come in here and my ink pad's falling apart, and just hit some of these edges. It's that easy. And I'm using one of the greens for the pineapple. So whatever color you make your jar, that's the color that's going to come through. Darn it. And I put glue all the way to the edge. It is better to put the glue on the jar because of that bottom corner. And just like with my box cards, I like to stand it up on the table so that I'm not going over the bottom edge. For me, that just helps me line it up more easily. I'll push it down from the inside. The little tag that comes with it is very plain, very simple. You could emboss this, that would look really cute. Like a zigzag pattern, if you have a zigzag pattern on your embosser, I think that would look cute on the pineapple. Or diamonds, that'd be cute. You can enlarge it if you want, if you need more space for writing on. And then I just use, my favorite twine is trendy twine. So I'm using lemon tart, and I'm also, my red here is cranberry. And you can get this at Anne's Paper Boutique. It's a small business. Leslie runs the store. Super sweet. Love her product. And then I'm just gonna wrap this around and tie it. So even this, tying this twine, or you could even put the tag right through the handle if you wanted. But this might be, whoops. Let me retie that bow. Hard for smaller hands to handle, like elementary children, but your middle schoolers should be able to do that. I can barely do it. Make my bow small and then I can tighten it. There we are. And so it just goes together that quickly. The strawberry is the same way. So this is a strawberry. And I am, I point out on this pineapple too, you probably are best putting the glue on the panel, because otherwise you're going to have glue where your cutouts are. So, but you can just avoid that bottom corner. And I don't think it shows enough. If you have glue there, it's such a small area that it's not going to make that much difference if you get glue there. So again, I'm going to stand my box up. And once I have it in place. There we are. And then it does have a top. I'm going to ink this just a little. Oops. I got some glue hanging over right there. There we go. And I'm gonna ink the edges of my strawberry. I especially like to ink when I'm using the same colored paper to help it stand out a little more. And this is the same color red and the same color green. And then you just glue this right here to the top. So I'm not going to put glue on that very tip top. And this is probably about 18 inches maybe that I cut my twine, and that allows me to wrap it around. Bring it back to the front and tie it. This could kind of look like a watermelon itself. It might have been, oh, I put it on the wrong one. This was supposed to be on the green. I was just thinking it probably should have been on the green, and it should have been. It should have been on the green, and I put it on the wrong one because the black was for my watermelon. Bummer. So the watermelon is a little bit different. It has the rind and the top. Now my seeds are going to be green, but that should look okay. So I'm going to layer these two pieces. I don't know if I can pull that off or not. I don't know if I want to. Nope. That would just make a mess. So we'll just do it green. I think I do need the darker. And now, because my seeds are going to be green, I'm going to, oh, I know what I can do. So what I'm going to do, try to correct my mistake a little bit here. And I'm just going to come in here, I'm going to ink this a little bit. Just darken it up just a little. So I'm going to put the bottom on first. And I also use my fingers for guiding on the side. And then the table for the bottom. So again, flip it over and put it on. There is this thin strip. This is like that piece of your watermelon that's right up against your rind that's not fully ripe. A lot of times it's white, but I did mine a lighter pink. That goes on next. And just put it right against that. And then this piece, oopsie, goes right like that. So I'm not going to glue that on because for my photo I want black behind there, so I'm going to cut a black piece and put it on behind that. So I'm not going to glue that in place, but you get the idea. And I'm going to also ink my little watermelon here, my slice. And then this one would tie and be right on there. And these are the fruit mason jars. Thank you for joining me.